I've always loved Mega Evolution, which might be obvious by my username, but one thing that's always confused me is how they selected who got Megas and who didn't. Like, why did the Hoenn and Kanto starters get Megas? Well, Kanto gets everything, but the other generations didn't. Well, Emerald Redux has brought us closer to balance by giving other starters some love. More specifically, the best trio starters of all time, the Sinnoh starters. But are they good? And which of these three is the best? Let's break down all three to find out. Going in Dex order, let's start with the grass starter, Torterra. Now, Torterra to me was always the worst Sinnoh starter in the original games, and it was always painful using it. However, with 4 abilities and a buffed up Mega Evolution, things are looking up for the tortoise. The stats are wild, with 184 in defense and 149 in attack. Its special defense is still nothing special and would probably die to the frost in the morning. Luckily though, the abilities come to its rescue and are really what makes this a beast, with the unfortunate 4 types doing super effective damage to it. Starting with its signature ability we have, which plays excellently with its move pool. Atlas sets up gravity on entry for 8 turns. Gravity being up helps Torterra in 2 ways. It grounds any flying or levitating Pokemon, and if you didn't know, gravity boosts the accuracy of everyone's moves by 67%. Its other ability, Forest Rage, is a boosted up overgrow, giving grass moves 30% boost or 80% when it's at 1/3 HP. The ability Solid Rock reduces super effective moves by 35%, which is key with all the weaknesses it has. Lastly, Grassy Surge to give it some passive healing and boosting up grass moves. Now, what moves does it really have to take advantage of these? Giving him Flapple's signature move, Grab Apple, a base 80 grass move that always lowers defense, which, in gravity, boosts by 50%. So, think about all these multipliers. 50% from gravity, 50 from stab, 30 from grassy terrain, and potentially 80% from forest range. And with the defenses dropping, no Pokemon can survive back-to-back. Another great move to use is Fissure, which is now 120 base power, not an OHKO move, and is 100% accurate in gravity, as well as Stone Edge. Slap Synthesis on him and maybe Grassy Glide for priority, and we have an incredible Mon. Torterra has come back in the game in a big way. Next in the Dex is Infernape. He's always been a bit of a glass cannon, but I always liked its ability to be a mixed attacker. However, this can be a little annoying, and mixed attackers need an item usually or a setup move to make up for their lack of power. They solve this issue completely with Mega Infernape's signature ability. Let's look at the stats first. 145 in both attack and special attack, and a very nice speed stat of 123. The pure definition of a mixed attacker. But how does the ability solve this? Well, its ability Equinox boosts attack or special attack up to match the higher of the two, meaning you don't need to invest anything in one of its attack stats and it still gets fully boosted. Also, it means you don't have to sacrifice your defenses with a negative nature. You won't be surviving much anyway, but it helps. Its other ability, Hellblaze, is the fire version of Forest Rage, giving it a 30 or 80% boost of the fire moves. It gets Limber to prevent paralysis, and it takes 50% from recoil, like when using Flare Blitz. Lastly, Berserk, which boosts special attack by 1 stage when at half HP. Infernape has a nice variety in its move pool and takes full advantage of being a mixed attacker. Special moves like Overheat, Scorching Sands, Aura Sphere, Solar Beam, and Nasty Plot if you can get one off. Physical moves like Close Combat, Frustration, Mach Punch, Flare Blitz, U-Turn, and Seismic Fist. I feel Infernape is just much better when you go for the attack stat and have one special move to help against strong defensive mons. If you can get it low enough without dying, moves like Heat Wave and Overheat will do crazy amounts of damage with all the boosts. Infernape can really get out of hand if things can't outspeed it and take it out. Lastly in the Dex is Empoleon. Empoleon is the one I picked growing up, and it's definitely one of my favorites, and it must have been the developers too, because its shiny form actually got some changes unlike the other two, and it looks great. Another reason I believe that is Empoleon's abilities. First, let's dive into its stats. Empoleon gets big boosts to its defenses and speed with 131 in special attack. Empoleon is the only one of the 3 with 3 different primary abilities when it Mega Evolves. You can choose between No Guard, which ensures all moves hit, Competitive, which boosts your special attack by 2 stages if they lower your stats, and Slush Rush, which gives you a 50% speed boost in Hail. The best one here, given its move pool, is No Guard, but variety is always a good thing. The other 3 abilities it gets every time are Riptide, which is the water version of Hellblaze and Forest Rage, Antarctic Bird, which gives ice and flying moves a 30% boost, and lastly, Battle Armor, which blocks critical hits and makes Empoleon take 20% less damage, adding to its bulk. Well, what makes No Guard the best option? Empoleon now has access to Hurricane, and it's boosted by Antarctic Bird, as well as Sheer Cold, which is now 100 base power Freeze Dry, and can cause Freeze Burn, which cuts your foe's special attack. Slap on Hydro Pump, and you have 3 very powerful moves with boosts, and they can't miss. And if you didn't know, Freeze Dry plus a water move has no resistances. Give it Roost, and Empoleon really has it all. So, which of these 3 are the best? I know on paper they sound unstoppable at times, but there are lots of strong Pokemon, so how do they hold up in practice? Let's start with 3rd place. Unfortunately, it's my favorite, Empoleon. His stats are too even, and it doesn't have enough bulk to live multiple hits from bigger threats. Even with great moves, it can be hard to get them off. Slush Rush can help you, but you risk the accuracy. And 2nd place goes to Infernape. It's very powerful and an excellent revenge killer, but it's so fragile and won't be able to kill many back-to-back without setup. It doesn't do enough from regular Infernape other than the speed, but regular Infernape can hold items. That means the best starter is Torterra. It's not perfect, and ice is still an issue to avoid, but its crazy defense is actually a problem for foes. Physical attackers won't be able to get through before dying, which makes Torterra the most reliable. Setting up gravity can also just help everyone on your team if they have lower accuracy moves. Also, I can see a lot more usability in double battles with him over the others. So that was my breakdown for the Sinnoh Megas and my pick for their rankings. If you used them before and you disagree or feel I missed something, let me know. If you have anything you'd like for me to cover in these games, also let me know. Don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.